This fighter jet is slower than one built in 1960. It cost us $1.7 trillion. But here's the crazy part. It's supposed to be slower. I spent 3 weeks diving into declassified military specs, interviewing former test pilots, and what I discovered completely changed how I see modern air combat. We're counting down the 10 fastest fighter jets still flying in 2025, starting with an American legend that shouldn't still exist, and ending with a Soviet monster that literally melts its own engines. But here's the plot twist that's going to mess with your head. The fastest jet on this list might be the worst fighter ever built. And the slowest one we mocked for years? It's making every other jet completely obsolete. Let's start with number 10, and trust me, by the time we get to number 1, you'll understand why the Air Force deliberately chose slow over fast. Number 10, F-4 Phantom II. Picture this scenario. It's 1958. The Soviets just shocked the world by launching Sputnik. Nuclear bombers could reach Chicago in 30 minutes. Your boss at McDonnell Douglas walks into your office and asks you to build something that violates the laws of physics. He wants it faster than anything currently flying. He wants it to carry more bombs than a World War II B-17 bomber. Oh, and one more tiny detail. It needs to land on an aircraft carrier without killing everyone on board. The engineering team's solution was absolutely insane. They took 2 General Electric J-79 engines, these were literally cruise missile engines designed for one-way trips, and strapped them to a 30,000-pound brick with bent wings. The thing was so ugly that test pilots immediately nicknamed it Double Ugly. The Navy rejected the design twice. The Air Force said it looked like a triumph of thrust over aerodynamics. But that flying brick became the F-4 Phantom II, capable of hitting 1,470 miles per hour through pure American stubbornness. And here's what nobody expected. 65 years later, 130 of them are still hunting targets around the world. Turkey operates 48 of them. Iran somehow maintains 65 with 0 American spare parts since 1979. They've been keeping these things in the air through pure ingenuity and probably some questionable procurement methods. Because sometimes the ugly solution is the one that survives everything. Number 9. F-22 Raptor. Only 187 were ever built. Then America did something absolutely bizarre. We destroyed the production line. We demolished the tooling. We made it literally impossible to build more, even for ourselves. The cost? $350 million per plane. But that's not why we stopped building them. The F-22 does something no other fighter can do. And it's not the stealth, though that's incredible. It's not the sensor fusion, though that's revolutionary. It's something pilots call the magic trick. While every other fighter needs massive afterburners to break the sound barrier, burning incredible amounts of fuel and creating huge heat signatures that scream "Here I am" to every heat-seeking missile in a 100-mile radius, the Raptor can cruise at Mach 1.8 without them. They call it supercruise. Silent, invisible, sustained supersonic flight that doesn't announce your presence to the entire battlefield. 1,500 miles per hour might seem slow for number 9 on our list, but when you're completely invisible at that speed, that's a completely different game. You're already dead before you even know it exists. Number 8. IAI Kfir. This one's absolutely wild. France cuts off Israel's fighter jet supply overnight. No warning, no negotiation, just complete radio silence. Israel's response would become the greatest act of aviation piracy in history. They didn't just steal French blueprints, they orchestrated something way more elaborate. They convinced an Iraqi pilot to defect with his MiG-21, giving them Soviet technology to study. They smuggled American jet engines through shadow companies that technically didn't exist. They reverse engineered, redesigned, and rebuilt everything from scratch. The French were absolutely furious. The Americans pretended not to notice while secretly being impressed. The result was the IAI Kfir. French aerodynamics powered by the same General Electric J-79 engine as the Phantom, 1,520 miles per hour of pure spite. Colombia still flies them today, because revenge served at Mach 2.3 apparently never gets old. Number 7. MiG-29 Fulcrum. Soviet engineers in 1977 had a completely different problem than their American counterparts. They assumed, and this is dark but brilliant, that every single runway would be destroyed in the first hour of World War III. So they built a fighter that didn't need runways. The solution is genius. Special doors slam shut over the engine intakes during takeoff. Air gets redirected through louvers on top of the fuselage. Debris that would completely destroy an F-16's engine just bounces off harmlessly. Highway strips, frozen lakes, farmers' fields. If it's flat for 400 meters, a MiG-29 can use it. 788 are still flying worldwide in 2025, maintaining the same speed as American fighters but with a completely different survival philosophy. North Korea operates them from hidden highway strips that satellites can't track. Poland flies them alongside F-16s in NATO exercises, which must make for interesting briefings. Because when all the airports are smoking craters, the Fulcrum keeps flying. Number 6. F-14 Tomcat. Before Top Gun made it the most famous fighter jet in cinema history, Navy pilots had a different name for this aircraft, the Turkey. Not because it couldn't fly, but because when its variable sweep wings extended forward for carrier landing, it looked absolutely ridiculous. Like a turkey trying to take off. But those swing wings hid an incredible secret. At 68 degrees swept back, something magical happened to the airflow. Pilots reported reaching advertised speeds of Mach 2.3 even when fully loaded with 14,500 pounds of weapons. The Navy retired it in 2006, but here's where it gets interesting. Every American Tomcat wasn't just scrapped. They were systematically destroyed to prevent parts from reaching one specific country: Iran. They still fly 41 F-14s with zero spare parts from America since 1979. They claimed 160 aerial victories against Iraq, losing only 16, 7 of those to accidents. It's the only American fighter jet we're actively afraid of facing in combat, because we sold it to the wrong people at the wrong time. Number 5. MiG-23 Flogger. The Soviets watched America's F-14 with its fancy variable sweep wings and thought, we can do that cheaper. They were right, sort of. The MiG-23's wings had 3 positions: swept back for speed, extended for landing, and one position pilots called suicide mode, partially swept, where the aircraft became completely unpredictable. One pilot described it like this: like riding a shopping cart down a mountain. You're moving fast, but God knows where you'll end up. But at full sweep, 1,553 miles per hour of pure interceptor fury. 187 are still flying in 2025, mostly in Syria, North Korea, and Libya. Places where unpredictable is considered a tactical advantage rather than a design flaw. Number 4. Sukhoi Su-27 family. Soviet intelligence delivers absolutely devastating news to the Kremlin. America's F-15 is unbeatable. Perfect record in all simulations. Superior in every single metric that matters. The Kremlin's response was brilliantly simple. Build something bigger. Not faster, not smarter, just bigger. Bigger wings for more weapons. Bigger engines for more range. Bigger fuel tanks for longer missions. The Soviet philosophy of overwhelming mass. It looks like an F-15 that hit the gym way too hard, cartoonishly large, almost like it's compensating for something. The Su-27 and its variants can hit 1,600 miles per hour, with 1,284 aircraft across multiple variants still flying today. And that bigger is better philosophy? It actually worked. Su-27s regularly defeat F-15s in exercises, because sometimes, just sometimes, size really does matter. Number 3. F-15 Eagle. Listen to this stat. 104 aerial victories, 0 air-to-air losses. No fighter in history has this record. Not even close. But here's the absolutely insane secret behind its success. The F-15 was built to counter a lie. The MiG-25 terrified American intelligence. They thought it was a super fighter that would dominate the skies. So we built the F-15 specifically to beat it. Then we discovered the MiG-25 was mostly steel and wishful thinking. So we had accidentally built the perfect fighter to counter something that didn't actually exist in the way we thought it did. The F-15 Eagle reaches Mach 2.5, and it's still undefeated after 50 years. Boeing claims their new F-15EX variant hit Mach 2.497 in testing. Some test pilots whisper it could reach Mach 2.9 when flying clean, a 50-year-old design that keeps getting faster. Still in production, still unbeaten, still accelerating. Number 2. MiG-31 Foxhound. A Russian general makes a shocking confession to Parliament. We had to slow it down. The aircraft could handle the speed. The pilots couldn't. The cockpit glass would crack at maximum velocity. Pilots reported literal hallucinations from the G-forces. The avionics would overheat and sometimes fail completely. They had built something too fast for humans to actually survive flying. The MiG-31 Foxhound was designed for Mach 2.83, that's 1900 miles per hour. But it's limited to Mach 1.5 for safety. 128 still patrol Russian airspace, each one carrying hypersonic missiles, each one capable of speeds that would literally kill its pilot. A machine too powerful for its creators. Number 1. MiG-25 Foxbat. September 6, 1976. Soviet pilot Viktor Belenko lands his MiG-25 in Japan and defects to the West. American engineers finally get to examine the mythical interceptor that sparked a decades-long arms race. What they find doesn't compute at all. Vacuum tubes instead of transistors. Steel instead of titanium. Engines that were basically cruise missiles with cockpits attached. It should have been primitive. It should have been slow. It should have been a complete joke. It absolutely wasn't. The MiG-25 Foxbat could sustain Mach 2.83, 1900 miles per hour at 70,000 feet. So fast it could literally outrun its own missiles. So fast the engines would melt after 3 minutes at maximum thrust. So fast that of the 4 remaining in Syria and Libya in 2025, it's unlikely any are actually combat ready, built with 1960s technology. Unmatched for 60 years. But here's the truth nobody in the defense industry wants to admit. Every single jet on this list is obsolete. Everyone. The F-35 Lightning II, that slow jet everyone mocks for its Mach 1.6 top speed, it has a computer that can track 23 targets simultaneously while you're still trying to find it on radar. It doesn't need to chase you at Mach 2.5. It already told a destroyer 200 miles away exactly where you are. The missile is already in the air. You're already dead. You just don't know it yet. Speed was everything, until data became faster than jets. But wait, there's one more twist. Rumors persist of something new. The winner of the Air Force's secret NGAD program was revealed to be the Boeing F-47 in March 2025. 6th generation, potentially hypersonic, maybe autonomous. Because maybe, just maybe, in the age of hypersonic missiles and AI dogfights, pure, overwhelming speed might matter again. The ghost of the MiG-25 might have the last laugh after all. So here's where we are in 2025. The fastest jets ever built are flying on prayers and stolen parts in Syria and Iran. America's newest fighters are deliberately slow. And somewhere in a classified hangar, Boeing is building something called the F-47 that might change everything again. The age of speed is over, unless speed becomes smart. Have we outsmarted ourselves out of the one thing that made fighter jets legendary? Or is raw speed about to matter again in ways we can't even imagine? If this makes you proud to be American, let us know in the comments. And if you want to witness military innovation before the rest of the world catches on, subscribe. Because the Raiders' story has only just begun.